Thank you, everybody, for joining us for the Reincarnation Book Club. We are excited to have John Koenig as our guest tonight. He was here, was it last year or the year before?
Uh, I did a regression with you,
Oh, that was last
and
year.
I did my autobiographies, my
Yeah, and that
reincarnation.
was the year before, yeah, 2023. And now he has a new project, which I'm so excited about. Here's the book. But one of the things I really love, I've been working this book for a month now, and I'm really into it. And I'm working it the same way I worked when I studied the I Ching. Your book is really, really like an updated version of the I Ching, which I think the masters who created the I Ching would be so thrilled about. So, and I won't give away how you created. I want you to share your process because it really is a very unique process.
Well, thank you. And if you know my belief structure, you know that I believe you're the exact right people to be here for this. Perfect people. And one is explain what we're going to do. We have until 8:30. I like to end promptly at 8:30. And since Carol has you putting those numbers in, I'm going to ask you individually. Let me put this. At some point, I'm going to pick a number for the whole group, and then I'm going to do a guided hypnotic meditation on that card. Um, the idea of community, that we become a community when we do this together, when people come with this intention. So the idea is to bring intentionality to this, not just for yourself, but for all of us to grow, to move, to evolve a little bit or a lot tonight. That's my intention, at least. And we are being recorded. So that means you have to be careful about saying things that you wouldn't want the whole world to know. But I will be asking you to think about at least really personal things that you might bring to this night to make it really worthwhile. Um, let's go around the room a little bit, and you can talk about say your name if you would, and if you have decks and how many decks you have and how you use the decks. So why don't we start with Jim because we put him on the spot already. Jim, do you own any decks?
I own I don't remember the name of it, but it's kind of like the historical main deck that people use. Does that mean anything to anybody?
You mean the tarot?
Yeah, tarot. Is that what you're talking about? Tarot
Rider
decks?
Waite, is it the Rider Waite, the very
Yes.
traditional one?
Yes, that's the one I have. Yes.
Okay. And do you work it or just own it?
I haven't. I took a class in it, but I have not been using it.
Okay. It
I still
becomes a
have it.
habit over time, but good. Uh, and have you got something at stake tonight yet? Something you'd like to have a breakthrough in?
Me?
Think about it. Yeah. You don't have to say what it is, but have you got one?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
got something.
Very good. So next is Tiffany. I know you weren't feeling well. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. I've had a
Good.
very terrible sinus infection.
Oh,
So I have probably over 30 decks.
uh-huh.
Wow.
I've been collecting them since I was like 15, but honestly, I probably had more than 30. I probably had like closer to 50. I have given away a lot of decks too. So sometimes I'll buy decks and I'll give them as gifts, and sometimes I'll just release my decks. Some of my decks don't speak to me anymore, and some of them did for a while. And I just, when they don't speak to me anymore or I don't use them, I
Yeah.
just release them.
So that
So
means you are using them regularly though in
I
your
was, and I actually there's only one deck that I've been using, and I haven't really been using my own. I've been using my friends. It's the exact same deck, but for whatever reason, I always want to use her deck because she's constantly working with it, and I don't
energy.
like working with the energy of my decks right now. I've just taken a break. I had to take a break from them because I just, you know, sometimes you can just do them too much. That's all.
One of the cards in my deck, I think it's 65, is called a day off.
I think I'm taking a day off. Absolutely.
Sometimes you just need a day off. You know, you can't always be working
Yeah.
on growth.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to kick back.
Yeah.
And oddly,
Absolutely.
that's the time when transformation can sneak in sometimes.
Yeah, I agree completely. Yeah,
Good.
I have
And
something.
have you got something at stake?
Absolutely. I have something.
Do you want to share it or is it private?
Oh no, I'm like on the verge of getting office space in the next couple days, and I have been looking for years. And I'm gonna have my final interview with them on Sunday, and I'm just like, is it a go or no? I don't know. I feel very good about it though. And it's like exactly where I want to be, right price, all that good stuff. So, and good people. So we'll just have to see how that magic works.
Okay. But that's all good. But at stake,
Oh, like what's at stake?
yeah,
Oh, I'd have to lose my other job.
there you go. There you go. Perfect.
Okay.
And Smita, I know you're a deck person. How many do you own?
I might have maybe about 20 to 25. I've honestly never thought of counting them. I just got on my birthday, 3 decks that a friend of mine picked for me. Um, and I'm actually looking forward to using them. She picked them from a used bookstore. They look fairly unused, but I know that I'm going to be activating them and making them mine. Um, one of them is a super interesting deck. It's all about artists and it's about messages from artists. And I'm like, okay, that's something I'm excited about because, I'm also an artist. So it's uh, it's fun to work with decks.
Hmm.
Um, and I do have a favorite deck. It's my to-go deck. I keep buying it and gifting it to friends like Tiffany. And I have a very dear friend in Hawaii. I had taken my deck there and I was pulling cards, sitting with a bunch of friends, and had this strong urge that I needed to gift that particular deck of mine to the friend sitting across me. And so I did. And
Deck where it was needed.
yep, yep. So yeah, and there are decks that I remember earlier this year for a New Year's party, I had gotten a deck in a prize, which I ended up actually gifting to somebody who I saw could use it more. So,
Now, have you got something at stake tonight, Smita, for yourself?
have I got what?
Something at stake, something you'd like a breakthrough in.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah,
You don't have to
yeah,
say it. It can be
yeah,
private.
yeah.
Okay, it's
Sure.
private. Okay.
Thank you.
And let's get to you last, Carol. Rhonda, how many do you have decks? Are you a deck person?
Yes, I have decks. I've created several, but I have,
I thought you had.
yeah, I do. And I'm creating a new one at the moment. I have about 20-ish decks. I do use them, but I'm not a slave to them. You know, I do use them for guidance and breakthroughs, but it's not like I won't make a move without consulting the Oracle. So, and
I counted for tonight. I own 12.
you own 12? Yeah. I have
And
to do pick.
have you got an issue you want like a breakthrough in tonight?
Yeah, sure. In business, getting business started that I'm working with right now.
Okay, so with the event. What's behind it? What do you want to break through in about getting this business?
Oh, just the um process minutia, just all the, specific to-dos about the structure and those kinds of things. So I'm working through all of that and clarifying who I'm best equipped to serve. I'm pretty much there on that piece, but just working on all the little details
So
that go with it.
it's the details, the doing of it.
Yeah, the
Got it.
getting make sure everything is right so that the government doesn't come after you, that kind of stuff.
Got it. And I don't know about you, but maybe I do. I find that much less entertaining than creating something.
Oh, I mean, I'd much rather create something and talk to people and do workshops, and I can do that stuff all day long, no problem. Yeah.
So now we got Beth. Beth, your screen's blacked. You don't have to open it if you don't feel like it. But are you a
I-
deck person?
Um, I don't own any, but I am very interested in the people that do own them. Sorry, I was outside working in the yard all day, did not have a chance to shower, so I'm a mess. But I like to come to anything that Carol presents because I'm like a sponge and just absorb so much knowledge from you all, the group.
Thank
I
you
I
for
do
that.
too. Carol deserves that compliment. Beth, have you got something at stake tonight? Something you'd like a breakthrough in?
Nothing that comes to mind, but again, anything that comes out, I'm sure something will, you know, light that bulb above my head, so.
Well, think about it. Most of us find usually there's some place where we're stuck. So why don't you think about it? And
Okay.
we'll go on to Jean. If you want to pipe in later, you can.
Okay.
Jean, are you a deck person?
Me? No, sorry, I joined late. I was having dinner. I'm still having dinner, and I actually don't know what deck you're talking about. Sorry.
Oh, like Oracle decks, Tarot decks, that kind of thing?
Oh, no, not totally not.
Jean,
I was,
do you throw the sticks or coins for, divination?
no,
Okay.
yeah. But like Beth, I just love to join Carol's, meeting. And with John, I love to listen to John's talk also. That's why I'm here.
Good, good, good. Uh, and I said it before we started, I think Carol deserves so much credit for organizing this for us. Uh, I feel that way. Hey, Jean, have you got an area you'd like a breakthrough in? Something you'd like to have a shift occur in?
Well, I retired about 2.5 years ago. I've not sure what I'm doing now.
There you
I'm
go.
doing so
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great area for a breakthrough. Beautiful. Perfect.
good.
Perfect.
Thank you. Good.
Perfect. And now, last but certainly not least, Carol.
You may not believe this, but I maybe have a handful of decks and I don't use them very often. When I'm guided to use them, then I'll do a little ritual, sit down, put a question out and ask them. And, but the decks that I do have, Inner Child, the Power Deck, the I Ching, I consider that, even though it's not a deck, it's still a divination tool. And I do have a Rider Waite, and I have a I Ching cards. So,
Yeah.
but I rarely use them. They were given to me, but I just
You
as I
prefer the
mentioned
classic
earlier,
I Ching. You
pardon?
prefer the classic I Ching.
Yeah, the I Ching, and as I mentioned earlier, and yours is the most recent one that I purchased, and I really associate it very much with the I Ching. I know the Gene Keys guy, talks about his work being connected with the I Ching. I did not feel that as much as I felt it with yours. So kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh my, I'm really proud of this product. Carol, have you got something you want to put at stake today?
Oh yeah. So I started the process of legally creating the International Association for Reincarnation Studies.
Mhm.
And in trying to set up the LLC, there was a technical glitch. So like Beth, all of the mechanical things that one has to do to set up a business are not the easiest things for me to do. So that's where I am at it. I know I'll get through them. I have faith because I am very persistent and I'm a quick learner, but there I am.
I'm kind of in the same boat. I launched my deck with a Kickstarter last year, and it was very successful. And it slowed down after that, the details of it. So I've got that at stake, and also a couple of private things. So that we all know each other now. I think I got everybody. I'm going to talk a little bit about decks generally, and I know this may be too basic to some people. I looked around Amazon and I found over 1,000 decks, 1,000 Oracle decks. That's a lot of decks. Some of them are bizarre. There's a thing called the Chicken Transition deck, which is about going through life's transition with chicken-themed cards. There's the Kraken Oracle, Deep Sea Mythology. Of course, there's the Unicorn deck, the Witch's Wisdom deck, the Fairy Forest deck, Starseed Oracle, Citadel Oracle deck, Wild Child Oracle is nature themed, by the way. Illuminate Oracle. I think probably my favorite. These are less of my favorites. There's one that's based on skeletons. The different cards are from skeletons. There's one called the Weird Cat Oracle. And maybe this is the best one, the Unusual Animal Messages Oracle deck. That is the title of it, the Unusual Messages. So all of these decks were, created by people, and people, I assume, are using them. The way people use decks, I thought about that a little bit. And for some of us, I've been using my deck for daily guidance, to pick one card every day as something to work on for that day. And people use it like that. And as a meditation aid. A lot of people use Oracle decks as meditation aids, as prompts. Some look at them for decision-making support. And by the way, there's divination decks and there are Oracle decks. Now, Oracle deck could be divination, have divination elements to it, but the tarot, for example, is generally a divination deck. I Ching, I would call both meditation as well as divination. Mine is purely an Oracle deck in the sense of meditation and personal growth. And that's how people use it, inner work. There are decks that are for psychotherapists. There are a lot of decks that don't have any of the spiritual overlay, but just if you're in therapy, you might look at an issue a day that you might pick. Let's see what else I found. Creative inspiration. There are some decks that are designed to prompt you, your creativity. And that's pretty much what I found. So my deck, like I said, I own about 12 of them, and I've always liked decks. Let me show. I'm going to put screen share. You got it. Okay. I was going to explain how I came about my deck, but I recorded this when I did the Kickstarter, so it's more efficient. It's 1 minute and 12 seconds. In July of 2023, Universal Mind was asked to comb through all human wisdom through artificial intelligence to identify 64 principles essential for human evolution and personal growth. The result was the Universal Mind Map, Oracle system for personal transformation, a deck of 64 cards based on these principles. Artwork was also created by AI, and the text of each card was written or channeled by a human mind. The deck comes complete with a 160-page guidebook that gives you all the instructions you'll need to get started. By allowing Universal Mind to guide your journey of growth through random selection, you'll be experiencing a complete system for personal development that came not from the mind of one person, but from the mind of all humanity, the Universal Mind. If you are on a journey of personal growth and discovery, see what Universal Mind has in mind for you. This is a curriculum for lifelong learning here in Spirit School, and enrollment starts April 15th, 2024 at 12 noon. Okay, so that was to introduce technological aspect. Forgive me just for a second. Darn. Darn. Oh, wait a minute. I see it. I see it. Okay, good. So that is how I came up with the deck. It was every other deck that exists is created through inspiration. Person has an inspiration, they create a deck around the inspiration, and that's fine. I own 12 of them. This deck is a compendium of all human knowledge. I asked ChatGPT to search for all human wisdom, psychology, religion, philosophy, self-help, and come up with these principles, 64, like a typical deck, that humanity has to master. And then I generated AI art, and I wrote the text myself, though. I channeled the text. I added 2 cards to the deck on my own. One was, as I mentioned earlier, the day off. Sometimes I want a day off. I get tired just working on stuff. And whenever I pick the day off card, it's been helpful just to kick back. I'm taking a day off. I'm not going to work on John. I'm not going to work on spiritual evolution. I'm going to just relax. But the other is a day of extra intense work. It's called the day you die. At a certain point, it all ends, and you go into whatever's next. So that card invites you to live that day as if this is your last day. What's left unfinished? What do you want to look at? So taken as a whole, as an aggregate, based on what ChatGPT found as the principles humanity's identified, you work this deck and you're going to go through a course of study of what the best minds of humanity, admittedly with my overlay, have decided people have to master. It's in that sense that makes it absolutely unique. The things that ChatGPT found are not really that surprising. Now, let me see if I know how to do this. Forgive me while I struggle a little bit. Forgive me while I struggle a lot. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The things that I came up with were pretty fundamental, like the mirror, self-awareness. The text, all my texts begin with a quote, and this one begins with Socrates, who says the unexamined life isn't worth living. So that's not all that out there. The next is leave the nest. That at a certain point, if you're going to grow in life, you need to leave what they call your comfort zone. So your familiar zone, but leave your comfort zone. So you get to leave the nest card in this, discussion about it. And it's basically saying to you, okay, it's time to move, time to get into action. Wall of fear. To be born incarnated, as all of us know, is to be born into fear. You're stuck in these flesh bags, and that all kinds of horrible things can happen to you. We live in fear, and we extend fear so that we begin to function as if our survival is at stake. If, for example, we don't get the promotion, or the boy or girl we had our heart set on doesn't like us anymore. We live, and breaking through the wall of fear is absolutely essential to be in the present. And Eleanor Roosevelt had a quote, they call it the present because it's a gift. Doesn't always seem like a gift, but it is. Humanity has decided that if you're present, if you're physically, emotionally present rather, and then you're doing a good thing for your evolution, for your growth. Boundaries. You have to set boundaries with other people. So this stuff is not, like I said, finding purpose. You've got to have a purpose in life if you want to evolve. You must be connected to people and community. You can't live alone. Generosity of spirit and as well as resources, empathy, to actually feel other people's presence is what we've decided. Mindfulness, to be aware. Spirit school is the idea of using, we go back for a second, that life, all the religions, for example, if you're believe in heaven, and the idea is you're on earth to get to heaven. Humanity has said basically that the best way to live is as if your life is not merely about survival, but if your life is about learning and growth. That's what human race is determined. Transformation is about becoming something different entirely. And humanity has said that's a good thing when you are, rather than just working linearly at something, to have a breakthrough that snaps you. Let's see what else we got here. The open book. The open book is the opposite of the mask. The mask is one of them. The open book is to basically tell yourself the truth about yourself and let other people see what you can. Adaptability. This is a flower growing through a wall. Humanity says if you want to live the best life, you have to deal with life as it throws you the curves of life. The slings and arrows of outrageous fortune. Phoenix rising. that when you're beat up, when you're down, to rise from that is humanity at its best. Again, not rocket science. Patience. You know, such a simple virtue. But to work on patience for a day is part of becoming an evolved human. Humanity has decided. Self-control. You know, these become obvious. Holistic health, not just your body, but also your mind. Self-compassion. Forgive yourself. Cut yourself a break. Drop the rock. The rock is the mess of the past. The maze. To look at choices in life. To actually know where you're going and look at choices. Divine union. Humanity has decided that to evolve spiritually, we're moving closer to deity. Now, I know there's disagreement. People might be atheistic, but as a general principle, this is what humanity, ChatGPT found humanity believes in, is union moving up toward the divine. And I did ask it the question, what do human beings have to do to live a good life, happy life, and to evolve spiritually and in other ways? So that informs some of these choices. Glass half full, gratitude. It's a simple thing. So easy to drop when you live in a culture like ours, where we have so much. And even if you have nothing, to be grateful for what, you know, that little tiny speck of something you might have. Optimism. Humanity has said if you want to evolve, you need to look on the bright side of things. You can't go around as a sad sack. Energy balance. Male, female, masculine, feminine, yin, yang, forgiveness, not just of yourself, but of others, letting go. You know, like in the transition, like leaving a job, letting go. It's part of what humanity says you got to be willing to do, to be flexible, to be moving and not being stuck. Discipline. A lot of these, you know, discipline has lost favor, but humanity has said discipline is important to live your best life. Harmony. You want to live at peace within yourself and with others. The mask. Everybody puts on a front. Everybody. And the people don't say they don't, or put it in a front that they don't. But the mask can become problematic. You know, to be authentic is what this card calls for. Embrace uncertainty. You know, we're on this ridiculous planet where anything can happen. Tolerance. To be tolerant of other people's differences of opinion. Again, keep in mind the boundary card earlier. To be tolerant and yet maintain boundaries. Let's see what else we got. Acceptance. And all of the cards, I generate usually about 80 to 100 images before I chose one for the deck, except this one. This one, I plugged in the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept things I can't change. Courage, change my can't lose my life. And this image came up, which struck me as perfect. So I just kept that as it was without fiddling with it. And cosmic unity, to become unified with the divine. Kindness. Little cat stuck in a tree, to be kind. Life map. That old line, if you don't know where you're going, you may end up somewhere else entirely. To have a plan and know what your values are. This invites you to examine your values. And here's gems, U-turn. What happens when you're going the wrong way in life? And everybody has had the wrong way from time to time. And this card invites you to look, are you going the wrong way in some area of life? And make a decision to make a U-turn and then get the resources to do so. Let's see here. Resourcefulness. You know, if you get lemons, make lemonade. Connection to nature. We can't just live in our heads. Responsibility. I used to do a lot of work with the old S training, and Werner Erhard said responsibility begins with a willingness to accept that you are the cause of the matter. And we talked about reincarnation earlier. If you believe you chose your family, your circumstances, to be responsible, this is my life, these are my choices, this is what I did. Double-edged sword, it's about habits. You know, habit is a double-edged sword. Transcend materialism. You know, you can't go around all the time thinking about, have I got enough? Have I got more? Environmental ethics. this will kind of surprise you, but humanity has decided that if you want to evolve as a human being, you have to be a good citizen on the planet. You have to be environmentally ethical. And I offer you some suggestions on how to do that in the deck. Ego transcendence, fundamental principle, humanity has discovered unity and diversity. That you have, and that's related to tolerance as well, to accept that other people are different and to celebrate the differences rather than, to oppress them. Purposeful action, to actually do something instead of just waiting passively for life to occur. Aging wisdom. And, I get this unfortunately a lot in my advanced age, but, to look back on your life, what have you learned? What have you learned? But whatever age in life, to recognize you're in an age in life. If you're 12 years old, be 12 years old, but recognize that others might have more wisdom. Our culture has dropped that a lot. Let's see here, what else we got? Boundaries. Oh, I'm repeating. So that's probably it, almost. The compass. To know where your true north is. To be guided by your values, not buffeted by the winds of whatever's going on around you. And the day off. And I created this, I added this on my own. And some of the best breakthroughs I've gotten is when I picked this card and just kicked back and just lived. Just lived. And then, of course, finally, the day you die. Now, these last two cards I consider optional, that somebody, may or may not, because they came from me, not from humanity's best thinking. So, let's see here. How are we doing? We're doing just fine. I would pause for a question. Anyone have a question before we get going? I'm going to stop the share for a second. No, speechless. Okay, good. So having said that, let's look at these numbers and see what people picked. So Jim, I forget, did you come up with an issue you're working on?
Yeah, well, the thing that I'm looking for a breakthrough on is for me to get out of my own way in my work towards connecting with the other side.
Perfect.
And that's my
Well,
issue.
let's see what 37 has for you and see if it resonates at all. It's called U-turn. Challenges as opportunities for growth. I was on my way to hell, and suddenly I made a U-turn. And I actually found this in a men's room graffiti in an AA. You can look at transformation as becoming the person you were always meant to be, or the person you decide to be. Transformation is a radical shift in being. Sometimes it occurs gradually, but can also occur instantly when the place you're at in life becomes intolerable and you recognize your coping methods have failed. It represents a dramatic break from the past. The caterpillar knows it can't go on another day wrapped tight in its cocoon. It simply becomes a butterfly, an entirely different thing, to become something that connects with the other side. This card is one of the most special in the deck. It's an invitation to let go of what has not been working and open yourself to becoming something entirely new, a new type of being. Being picked by this card means likely there's some area in your life that you're sick and tired of enduring. What is it? Why did this card pick you? We suspect you won't have to dig too deep to find the answer. Whether you're caught in some addictive hell or just simply tired of living half alive, today is your day to tell yourself the truth. Then ask yourself if you're willing to try something entirely new. And forgive my writing, but I say, by the way, dear student, recognize that you don't have to do this alone. There's no shame in asking for help.
Okay.
Indeed, you will get extra credit on your final exam for doing so. Whom do you ask to help you become this new version of yourself? It might be the universal mind itself, God, source, higher power, but it might also come from visible sources such as a friend, professional, or a group. Be honest about what hasn't worked and open yourself to a shift in the level of mind, body, or soul, or maybe all three aspects of being. Sometimes you have to just say, enough is enough. Is today that day? And the assignment, each of these has an assignment, is tell yourself the truth about what's been holding you back and ask something other than yourself for help. Anyway, so that's number 37. I could see some real relevance there. We
So
gotta go.
let me ask John.
Yeah.
I'm not sure I understand entirely how these cards were developed. Was was the topic brought about by the Chat GPT? Was the text that you just read from was that generated, or did you generate those?
I generated the topics are ChatGPT. The
Okay.
text is all
Okay.
me. I tried to get out of my own way. I tried to just let things flow. And I've done a lot of writing, and the writing for this flowed. It just kind of came. So
Well, no, I know
right.
I know what you mean, that sometimes you don't even have to think about it. It just comes out.
And that's usually the best, you know what?
Yeah.
And you can't force that.
No,
It comes when it comes.
no, no.
So
Well,
I'm
I thought that was great, and I didn't really know how these cards worked, and I think that I
well,
appreciate you sharing that.
the message to you is to ask for help.
Okay.
It's whether you ask divinity or you ask Carol or somebody. Now
Yeah.
we got Beth on 49. This is interesting. Beth, your issue is getting into the nitty gritty of your work, I think, right? Well, you picked 49, which is the compass, which is integrity. A life led with integrity is a journey steered by a dependable compass. That's Mark Twain. In
I like that.
numerology,
Sorry, I like that.
the number 4 stands for building a foundation.
Hmm.
Brilliant. The number 9 signifies wisdom, humanitarianism, spiritual awakening. It often signifies the end of the cycle. So congratulations to you, I wrote. Universal
Thank
Mind
you.
wants you to know that the work you've been doing with the deck is going well or in life, and you've been promoted to your next level in spirit school.
Woohoo.
Or you're beginning a new journey. It's inviting you to focus on building a strong foundation. I think that resonates from what you said.
Yeah.
It's a good card to draw. How do you celebrate your experience thus far and elevate the next level? Simply put, you keep doing what you've been doing, Beth. It says, follow your inner compass as you work with your cards, aligning your thoughts and actions with your core values. Practice being the person you want to be, rather than acting the way your history might push you. We hate to break it to you, but there's no graduation in spirit school, at least while you're still incarnated on planet Earth. It's all about the journey and learning for its own sake, not as an end. And if you're just starting the program, recognize what Universal Mind wants to encourage you today. This journey, personal growth, is a worthy use of your time and energy. The degree to which you maintain your integrity in this process is the degree to which you'll achieve your goals. Consider that by coming across this deck and working with it, you have been touched already by the hand of God. And your assignment is to resolve today to act in ways consistent with the very best version of you. So I would summarize that, Beth, and says, keep on keeping on.
Well, thank you. I don't know why I picked 49, but now I do, and it makes sense because I feel like my life has been on pause for a little bit, but now I'm raring to go. So,
Yeah, that's what I got. Good for you. 13 is Beth's, and a similar type of adaptability. Oh, adaptability. That's the one with the, I don't know if you can see it, with the flower growing out of a wall. Show me someone who has done something worthwhile, and I'll show you someone who has overcome adversity. It's a sports guy, Lou Holtz. You wouldn't be human if you didn't become annoyed at barriers on your path. These barriers may be people or situations. It's guaranteed that things will stand in your way. How do you manage these roadblocks? Well, that will determine the quality of your life. You might feel unsupported. I don't know if that resonates. As a seedling trying to grow on a rocky cliff. But whatever adversities you face, remember there's only a few ways to handle a roadblock. You can try to go over, around, under, through it, or head out in a whole new direction. Sometimes it means growing through an opening that others can barely see. What you can't do is wish them away. They're facts of life. It's also a fact that bemoaning their existence is more than a waste of time. It's a destructive use of your time. Thomas Edison failed in his first 10,000 attempts to build an incandescent electric light bulb. His response was captured in a famous quote: "I haven't failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." A light bulb may go off in your mind today. So the assignment is to identify the major roadblocks to your personal evolution today and look for the crack in a wall of whatever blocks you. Does that have any relevance?
I don't know if that was someone else's card too. It was mine.
Oh, that was yours, Rhonda.
Yeah, okay, you had said Beth, and so I didn't
Oh,
know
I
if
said
someone
that
else.
by mistake.
No, that's
Beth
okay.
is
I just didn't
49,
know if someone
building a
else.
foundation. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I just didn't know if someone else picked it. For me, I'm like the queen of adaptability, because as a blind person, I do almost everything differently from how most people do
The
it.
blind seer.
Yeah, the blind seer. So I kind of laughed. I'm like, yeah, I do. I see all the stuff other people don't. I don't really, I don't believe in barriers exactly. Yes, there are things that make us turn aside or halt or whatever. There are things that come up, sure, but
Yeah.
I'm always the adaptable one. So I just kind of laughed. I'm like, yeah, that's probably why it's my favorite number. Just kind of,
It's just kind of celebrates who you are.
exactly. So it's all good.
And by the way, with this deck, a lot of decks, the graphics are very important.
Hmm.
I don't think my graphics are very important. I really don't. It's the messages that I think are important. The graphics were just created, because you got to have graphics to have a deck. But the
Well, there's an opportunity there to have the energy is in both the imagery. Many people are highly visual, and that
yes,
imagery
they are, and I did the
helps
best
them.
I could. But that was me.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
44 is Tiffany. Let's see, we got 44. And by the way, maybe you've noticed already that all of these apply to all of us. It's specific to a person, but this is what humanity has decided. Ego transcendence. You got ego transcendence. True humility is not thinking less of yourself. It's thinking of yourself less. That's C.S. Lewis. Picking this card means you're likely facing something that's making you feel off balance. Is that true, Tiffany? Oh, you're sick today. Of course it's true.
Well, yeah, I feel terrible. I've been feeling terrible for days. And actually today I was like, I've had enough of being sick.
Well, I don't know if this is what this is referring to, but it says the situation may even be a direct result of something you did yourself. Maybe something else entirely than that. Whatever it is, you likely become focused inward rather than toward connection with others or upwards toward deity. This card is your invitation to shift your attention from your personal drama to being a positive force in your world. Humility starts with detachment from bondage to an egocentric view of reality. Detachment doesn't mean you don't have a preference in the matter. Of course you do. But remember that you are on a path of growth toward the highest, best version of you, a co-creator with Source and aware of your divine nature. Egotism separates you from divinity, as well as your fellow travelers. That may be why pride is ranked first among the deadly sins. So whatever you're facing today, first do your best to remedy the situation and then turn towards Source and put the issue in the hands of the universal mind. Remember, there's opportunity for growth and learning in every adversity. You're also being called on today to view others as souls like you on their own unique spiritual journey. And that includes people in your family. To recognize that you're simply a fellow traveler, no better, no worse. So lighten up, it says. Don't take yourself so seriously. And treat others with the honor you would like them to treat you. And trust things will turn out precisely as they're meant to. Your assignment is to gaze into the sky tonight after we finish and ask Source to show you your true place in your world. That's what you get.
Wow.
That can't just be about a cold.
That was massive. I don't even know how to break that down.
Oh, Catholic. Yes. Carol got the open book 12. Authenticity is daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embracing who we are. Maybe you were hurt in a relationship. It might have been a parent who mistreated you or didn't give you the love you needed. It might have been a sibling or an early romantic relationship. Perhaps it was the biological body you were born into or society itself. But at some point, you probably shut down part of yourself. Some of this response may have been necessary for self-protection, but you've long outgrown its usefulness. It kept you from forming authentic human relationships that add depth and meaning to life. Sadly, likely even shut down awareness of your emotions, afraid of being vulnerable to your inner critic. The cost was loss of love and intimacy. The process of being vulnerable in relationships begins with the most important relationship, the one with yourself. This card reminds you it's okay to be human with human feelings. We all have them, even you. You don't have to be an open book to everyone. But start today by opening your authentic story completely to yourself. And again, this is not just Carol, it's all of us, me included. Picking this card may be a sign that you're ready to let someone in more fully than you ever thought possible. This card also powerfully reminds you that you don't have to do this alone. Look for areas in your life where you could use help, professional and otherwise, and reach out. Start by accepting yourself exactly as you are, and the rest will follow. So the assignment is ask yourself what you've been unwilling to accept about yourself, or afraid others might know about you. Then consciously accept it as another magnificent part of the evolving human that you are. So I don't know what that does for you.
I love it. It's fantastic. It's been my lifelong journey.
Yeah.
I mean, every one of those, it was like it was directed specifically to each challenge that I faced along the way. And it reminded me that those challenges have made me stronger, and that inner strength is what guides me to push through these. My block was about creating the business.
Yes, right.
But I've just learned so much from the journey that I know this can be done too.
And I know your story, and you've moved toward greater and greater authenticity, more fully accepting yourself, not
I
just as a home designer, but into this new. And it mirrors my journey as well. From being an ad guy to hypnotist to this. Smita, what you got?
9.
9. Okay, let's see what 9 is.
That's the first number that came to my head, Carol, when you asked to think of numbers.
It just wasn't in the chat, so I apologize.
Um,
Oh my goodness. You got the one with the Buddha as the visual. Mindfulness, present moment awareness. Mindfulness isn't difficult. We just need to remember to do it. It's one thing to stop and smell the roses, but if you've been incarnated in spirit school for any amount of time, you know that thorns are at least as common as roses on planet Earth. Mindfulness requires being present to whatever is occurring. And that means embracing what you do not like, as well as what you do. Just letting things be as they are without judgment is a skill that does not come naturally. After all, we live in a world where most people spend much of their time trying to avoid what's happening in the present. We do this by compulsively trying to manipulate situations to maximize pleasure and avoid pain. To reach the serene point where you can say and feel with genuine humility, it is what it is, you must first reduce the chatter of approach avoidance that occupies your conscious, even unconscious minds. It can be argued that mindfulness is the ultimate self-development tool, since it gives you access to the whole of you and all of your experiences. Make your daily meditation practice a priority, Smita, it says. Be on the lookout for distractions. Commit to being fully present to whatever's happening within you as well as without today. And it invites you in the assignment at regular intervals. Stop, put a hand over your heart, close your eyes, and simply be. From time to time, just stop and be.
just beautiful and just, oh my God. For me, mindfulness was a game changer. Um, it helped me, release my depression and all that. But then now more than ever, mindfulness is is like the boat that's helping me sail through because of some very difficult personal circumstances. So, being in the present moment, I've had to be in the present moment. Every day, every moment I've had to, because that's the only way I can get through. There is just no other way to get through this dark tunnel. And so I think for me, mindfulness is about trusting and having faith in the divine. And when I meditate, go within, I love going in that void. And a lot of these days, even though I am trying to be fully present, it's also, as you said, John, taking a stop. And I'm reminded that I need to meditate every day. I really need to do that. And that will help me even more. So thank you.
Yeah,
This
I
this
had
totally hits on what's at stake.
I have a daily meditation practice. I wouldn't live without daily meditation.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
one of the things I find very, very helpful is I have a belief structure that everything that happens here in spirit school is exactly the way it's meant to be. That doesn't mean I like it necessarily. And this stuff gets really, really dirty and real. I've talked about this. I think I walked into our bedroom and my wife was in a seizure a few years ago, brain tumor. Did I like it in the moment? No. Did I accept it? Yeah, it is what it is. And, there's a lot of power in that, to be mindful instead of
Truly.
trying to escape from things. Anyway, what I've got on the screen now is a random number generator. Working with cards physically, you get the energy of the person and of the cards, I believe. But you don't really need that. This particular one is called random.org. Random.org. A lot of lottery systems use this random number generator. It generates the numbers from atmospheric conditions. So if you want to talk to Universal Mind and say, what have you got for John today? I go to the cosmos and I allow it to pick a number. And the number that it leads me to is from my deck, where each of the topics is chosen by humanity. These are humanity's points, not my own. And that's what I do. So I'm going to pick a number for tonight and then do a meditation. And I got to go quick because I'm running out of time. Let's see what we picked. We picked 58. So let's see what 58 is. 58. Oh my God, it's faith. Uncertainty is the only certainty there is. And knowing how to live with insecurity is the only security. So I'm going to build a meditation around that. And before we do, I mentioned that I generated the art with AI. And this is one of the programs I've used. It's called ArtSpace AI. And what I've asked it to do is I'm going to bring us to an imaginary temple. We're going to work on transcendence and transformation. So I asked it to give us a group of people in a heavenly temple, mostly women, but a few men, because there are a couple of us, all wearing white gowns, and we've got golden lights of the spirit in us. Greek columns around us for walls, no ceiling, just beautiful blue sky and clouds. And in the center of the temple, meant to represent, in the center of the temple, there's a glowing form meant to represent, if you will, deity, universal mind itself. So I have no idea what we're going to get. So I'm going to hit this thing over here, and within 12 seconds, we're going to have an image that I'll work into our meditation. And then we need to get ourselves centered and get ready to get started. Okay, so that's what we're working on today. There we are. So that's where we're going. Oh, look, it's got me in the middle. That was nice. I didn't ask him to do that. So it's a lot of fun, by the way, creating art. And I know at least one artist here. You know, I'm not gonna. That's a whole different conversation. It was difficult for me to decide to use AI art instead of a person. But that's another. Not to get into that now. So what I want to do is do our meditation. Does anybody have anything to say before we get started? It'll be about 20 minutes. No comments. Then let me get rid of this so I can see you. On the same thing. So in this one, you close your eyes completely, and you consciously choose to relax the muscles that control your eyes. Maybe there are 20 muscles in there. And when you relax those muscles, relax them so thoroughly in your mind that even if you were to try, they wouldn't open. You might manage your eyebrows, but not your eyelids, because you're imagining, you're pretending they're just too relaxed to function. When you feel you've done that, give it a little test and prove to yourself they just don't want to work. Okay, good. Now stop trying and take that relaxation and work it up into your scalp. Work it down the back of your neck and allow yourself to drift a little bit. Let your body become softened. Breath slow, easy, natural. And I really invite you to feel safe. You know, there's so much risk and danger on planet Earth, but in the mind of God, in the mind of deity, you're safe, supported. And we begin our journey with every breath a little more relaxed. Begin to feel a warm breeze, if you can, brushing against your forehead. And if you can, smell the faint fragrance of sacred sandalwood, jasmine, maybe lavender. So every breath you take now takes you more relaxed and more at peace as you let go of the mundane world and allow yourself to go into your own spirit. A golden light now gathers at the crown of your head. That light that maybe lives inside of you, light of your spirit, now begins to gather at the crown of your head, down your scalp, goes back down over your face, into your neck, into your shoulders, and then goes all the way back down, like a cycle of energy. With every cycle becoming stronger, as your spirit becomes stronger, as you drop the pretense, if you will, of regular incarnated life and allow yourself for a moment to experience yourself as pure, divine spirit. As you drift a little down and down, all the way down, right into your root chakra, and all the way down into the center of the planet, Gaia. Let go of the past. Whatever was happening, even today, let it go. And embrace the present. By embracing the present to create a future, not just to live into, but tonight to create a future to live from. Drift and dream. And imagine before you now that temple we just created, the temple of light. Beautiful temple of light made of crystal and gold and stone. And the door opens magically as you approach. This is your private temple, just for you, because you are in your own mind, just for you. You feel a sacred stillness. But then you realize you're not alone. The day we did this session, there were 7 other temples ringing your temple. And in truth, there's many, many, many more temples. So imagine you can feel the light from those temples as well, radiating, pulsing. In the center of your temple, as the others, there's a golden form of light. This could be your oversoul. This could be your big soul, the real you, the you that's chosen to incarnate here. Or it could be the universal mind itself, the source of all wisdom, the architect of all evolution, the one who called you here, specifically you and me, us to be here. Drift and dream as light in your heart awakens and glows in response. And the 2 lights yours and over there, your oversoul, universal mind, begin to resonate. A glowing brilliance begins to connect you like a cord of divine energy. And now the universal mind begins to speak as you drift along and as you dream. That you are a student who's chosen to incarnate here in spirit school. It's chosen to be the one you were meant to be, that you're going to be. So now release all that doesn't serve you, all that doesn't bring you joy as you drift along and as you dream deeper and deeper, to really be present here, to be completely relaxed and totally at peace as you drift along and as you dream. Now, feel yourself opening to the message that has been chosen for this group for you. Faith, overcoming fear as you drift along and as you dream. Look before you leap might be great advice. But you're reminded today that sometimes there's no guarantee. Everything you do will turn out right, but everything may end up turning out wrong. And allow that to simply be part of your journey. Know that as a soul enrolled here in spirit school, you're always safe. Always safe here. Truly, ultimately. And when this semester of life is over, you are going to return to source. Believe it, know it, feel it. Wiser and richer than when you first arrived. By picking this card today, we're encouraged, all of us, to look within ourselves for the right actions. Maybe we'll land on our feet. Maybe we'll fall flat on our heads. But whatever happens, we can be assured that everything today, every day, always will be exactly as it was meant to be. Our challenge is to be in action without knowing whether we're making the best decision and taking the best action or not. We'll find it helpful to keep a degree of detachment from the desired outcome. Strong expectations, or resentments, frustrations, or disappointments waiting to happen, you want to go with the flow. Now, there are many different actions you could take today. The array of choices may seem bewildering to us, but our challenge is to pick a positive goal and through action, break through our fears. This card picked us today to urge us, each of us, to get moving. Avoid the trap of overanalysis. And as we take the leap to trust in faith, the divine source has our back, our destiny has our back, our mission. And we consider today, as we go about our day, that everything is going to turn out exactly as it is meant to be, even though it may not seem like that for right now. As you drift and dream, the temple, your temple begins to rise and to lift, that everything is as it is meant to be. The beautiful question, what if there's nothing wrong with you and much that's right? What if you are doing your path just fine? And more will be revealed. As the temple begins to rise, carried by light up into a higher realm, weightless and free, letting the day fade away, and allowing yourself to drift and dream, floating above the limitations of our lives. To whatever degree the messes we've made, to rise above it all, even to rise above the accomplishments, to rise into pure spirit. And as you look around, all the other temples are rising with us. Souls glowing in harmony, together ascending. The universal mind moves through your body. And this is probably the most important part. Searching with love, removing blocks, removing resistance, dissolving doubt and shame and fear and greed and all the other things that might hold you back. Clearing paths that were closed, even those we didn't even realize were closed, and reawakening our potential. Feel your system reboot. And today, let us transcend to become human beings, the spirits, enrolled in spirits going into be, and to live from that place, to live from our future selves, to live from enlightened visions and versions of us, to say in your mind and your heart, I am a student here. I walk toward the universal mind, toward deity. I'm never alone. I'm on the right path. I'm on the path that maybe I picked for me, maybe deity picked for me. I'm doing okay. Get through this day, in fact. I'm doing just fine, one day at a time. So allow yourself to feel that when you return to full awareness, the world looks the same. Same family, same challenges. But we're different. We've touched into the spirit. We come back refreshed, powerful. So very, very slowly, on the count of 5, like you had a great rest, remembering everything you need to, consciously, return to full awareness. You may notice your eyes are a little bit teary. 1, 2, 3, like you've let go of some emotion. When you've listened to this recording, if you do, you may have a whole different experience next time, because everything is always about change. 4 and 5. And welcome back.
Well, I do feel like a new person, but I also wonder how long it's going to last.
Isn't that so human? We're all,
Yes.
we're all like that, Gene. We're all like that. And that's the challenge here. We're all
Yeah.
works in progress, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's funny, but that's we're all like that.
But this is a great experience to kind of remind ourselves in whenever in the future, go back to, like Carol said, go back to the center, go back to what we just experienced. It will be because it will have an imprint, so it become a great reminder.
I think I don't want to get Carol's head too large, but knowing Carol is a nice anchor to that. It's occurred to me if I had to add one more card, I would add the card of asking the right questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure that that's inherent in the deck or not, but asking the right questions. You can pursue the wrong question for a long time. Like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? You're trying to force life to conform to your vision, and maybe you got the totally wrong question. Maybe the question is, well, how can I be happy? How can I be at peace? Anyway, that's my pitch. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
Carol, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And, thank you for what you do for us.
Oh, well, thank you for creating this. I love how you have integrated AI in the most positive way, and it feels to me as if you've tapped into collective. You call it universal mind. I think of it as collective,
Yeah, exactly.
higher
Same concept.
collective consciousness.
Same
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, and I just want to share. I got in your meditation. I got to go a little bit further than the quantum consciousness journeys that I had with Smita. In that, I saw it. So when you talked about oversoul, I saw the oversoul, but this time I saw it on the drafting board of the architect of the universe, and I was looking through the architect's eyes.
Wow.
Yeah, so this was awesome for me.
Well, and
That's
thank you all
beautiful.
for all the nice comments, Beth. Appreciate that. Um, it's a pleasure. And, you know, and I was thinking about this. It's not about me. Whoever does facilitating on something like that, and I know that Smita certainly and Carol would agree. You're processing, you're channeling, you're in it as much as anybody. Over the years working as a hypnotist, I've noticed that people come to my office are working on exactly whatever I'm working on. You know, we're all in this together.